depression.
Depression is a mood disorder that causes a persistent feeling of sadness and loss of interest. Also called major depressive disorder or clinical depression, it affects how you feel, think, and behave, and can lead to a variety of emotional and physical problems. You may have trouble doing normal day-to-day activities, and sometimes you may feel as if life isn't worth living. Today, to share her story is Tameka Coley. Good morning, Tameka.
Morning, how are you?
You're so brave to come and sit in front of all Jamaica and to share your experience with depression. And you're so brave that even your t-shirt, hashtag
Face depression.
depression. What strength that must mean. And I'm sure that's not the strength you had a couple of years, a couple of months ago when you faced depression. Could you tell us about your story?
Okay, Face Depression really is a social media campaign that recently was launched on the 26th of July, Spanish Court Hotel, and it came out of Barbados. Camille Adaisy Evelyn, she is a spoken word poet and activist. She herself struggles with depression, and she was even hospitalized. She had to drop out of school, so it was very serious for her. And while she was in hospital, she journaled a lot about what the experience was like for her, and that is how she pulled herself out of it. After that now, she started to basically share clips of what she wrote with graphics, because she does graphic design and she does, you know, like videos and stuff. So she started to make it interactive and post stuff about it, and it took off. Through my blog now, I always write about my own experience with depression and what I see, what I research, and so on, to help myself cope and to help other people get information about it. And she and one of her friends, who is a psychologist here, they basically recommended me to her. And we started a team here of 5 ladies who are equally passionate. So that's how I got involved with this. And
Face depression.
started to face depression.
But I mean, you feel some days you feel a little low. You don't feel like your bubbly natural self, or you're up to the tasks of the day ahead of you. Is that depression, or is there a more clinical, scientific definition to this thing?
Well, it has to do with that, as well as, because it's physical as well as mental. There are a lot of people who think that depression is just in the mind, but there are physical manifestations as well. Even what you mentioned, not feeling like getting out of bed, that is physical. That affects what you can do that day, whether you can perform at work that day. So you can have, you know, there are like headaches, queasiness, shakiness, anxiety also has a lot of physical manifestations, and that comes with depression as well. So there are signs, especially sleeping. If somebody is oversleeping a lot, or someone who had like normal sleep patterns just is unable to sleep well, that is a sign. Just withdrawing from everything that you used to enjoy doing, that is another sign. So those are actual things that you can look out for. And a change in like speech pattern where they express themselves in a way as if everything seems hopeless and so on, that is a sign as well. So if you see a combination of similar things, not to say that you should label a person, but pay more attention, try to get them to speak more about it and so on. In my experience, it varies. It's not a manifestation that is set in stone. Some days, you know, you put on your clothes and you go out there and you are doing what you're doing, but you know that you're not at 100%. You're really just pushing. You're really just putting that smile on. And other days you can't get up at all. You don't wanna answer the phone. You don't want to do any work. You don't want to even shower or eat. You can't sleep, so you're just tired all the time. It's a whole lot of things that can come with it. So it really helps to have a good and strong unit that supports you all the time through this.
You spoke of one of your members actually going through the process of, writing and doing graphic graphic design as their coping mechanism, what are some other coping mechanisms that you can highlight to help with when it is that you're going through your mode of depression?
Well, for me, writing helps, and I find that writing helps a lot of other people as well. But movement helps a lot too. So like if you're interested in yoga, you can do that, or even just walk outside. Going out into the sunlight is something that helps a lot of people as well because of the vitamin D and the serotonin and stuff that you get that boost. But moving, that definitely helps a lot. Trying to balance out your sleeping patterns, that helps a lot. Just being active, trying not to withdraw from everyone. So sometimes it helps to actually push yourself to have company or to go and do something.
Yeah.
And what are some of the things that you do with the hashtag FaceDepression, having launched that as a medium in which persons are able to help, you know, get the help that they need? What are some of the activities that you have done in order to help the depressed society?
Well, we really just are starting out. So we had the launch on the 26th and the social media part of the Jamaican leg of the campaign, that is on the 5th of September. That's when it kicks off. So we're going to start putting out the graphics with showing the Jamaicans who have come forward to share their story with others. So right now the Barbados leg of the campaign is happening, but it's all under one umbrella. So we're going to start putting our people out.
You know, what are some of the activities that will be done though?
Well, basically we are keeping it online for now. So it's a social media campaign. We're showing videos, we're showing photos of the person with quotes from them, with their experience and, you know, just what helped them. So it's not just people who have been depressed or who are depressed right now, but also like doctors and psychologists who treat them, advocates, stuff like that. So there's a lot of quotes that we're using to give out the facts to people so that they understand, and also just to destigmatize, just let them know that it's not something to be ashamed of. The same way that you tell someone that you're diabetic, you shouldn't be afraid to tell somebody that you struggle with depression, because we have seen what can happen when people don't speak about it, and it can get fatal. So we are trying to get people on board with this and just let them understand that it's just like any other illness, so it doesn't have to get there. So the activities now after online, we want to take it offline. We're hoping to go into some schools, into some communities, and just break it down for people, simplify it so that they understand what it is to look for and what simple things they can do to help.
Yeah. As a parent, you know, we're in the back to school season. How do I know if my child is depressed or they're just lazy? No one get up out of bed, they're just lazy. Don't want, mommy, me not feel like go to school today, my belly at me. And you know, say, you know, you're like, I want to be that parent who is responsive and alert to anything going on in my child's life. But is he taking an advantage or disadvantage? How do I know if they're really depressed?
Well, I would say that for your child, you can kind of pick up when something is really wrong, as opposed to when a child is really just throwing a tantrum. If the child is really depressed, you would be able to tell that they really cannot help what they're going through, as opposed to that they are putting on something. They'd probably be crying a lot, or they would just not be responding as they normally would to regular things that they would enjoy. So they'd probably stop playing with their friends, or if they loved to color or something, they're not interested in it, or they stop eating, or, you know, like there are lots of physical things that you can look for as well. So even sleeping, that can be a sign in children as well as in adults, and just nervousness, things like that.
And how important is our role as a society to help our nation to move from being depressed?
Very important. I think it lies on us more than it lies on professionals, because we are interacting with each other every day. So if somebody says something and it raises an eyebrow, I think it is our responsibility to look out for each other, to ask more questions, to pay closer attention, and to see if there is really something beyond the surface, or if the person is just having a bad day, to see if you can help and so on. It is really a big thing in Jamaica right now. The statistics are not 100% up to date, and that's something we want to work on as well, to get more data, just to know what is really happening. But The estimates right now that we have is that 15% of the teenage population in Jamaica is depressed, and around 30% of adults. And that is a really big number. So it's something that we need to jump on.
And at what point would I say, okay, if I say Nikisha changing certain patterns, at what point would I say, okay, I need to take her to see a professional?
I would say pay close attention, like the minute you notice that something is wrong, and try to speak to her and get her to share, see what else you can, seek out, and start working from there. Don't wait too long. I would say a month of consistent
Changing
changes.
behavior?
That might even be too long. So if you know somebody well enough and you see a change that seems drastic, act on it right away.
Oh boy, that's a whole lot of
That was very
responsibility,
interesting. All right, but where can we get more information with regards to depression based off the movement that you have started with hashtag FaceDepression?
We have a Facebook page. It's facebook.com/FaceDepression, or you can just type in FaceDepression. The hashtag, you can search the hashtag on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook. We have a website as well. It's www.facedepressiontogether.com. So resources are there, facts are there, like all the information that you could need.
All right, thank you so much, Tameka, for coming through.
Yeah, and thanks for being so brave, sharing your story
Yes.
with us this morning on CVM at Sunrise. We'll have more after the break. See you.
All right.